Welcome to the first session of the GLAD Learning Bite program. These are very short training sessions with an even shorter test at the end. Our first session starts with the critical subject of work health and safety, and particularly our duty to care for ourselves and others. We now refer to the new law as Work Health and Safety Legislation, or WHS for short. You might remember it used to be called OHS, Occupational Health and Safety. In Australia, we can be fined or even imprisoned for seriously harming or killing another person because of our reckless behaviour. These new laws are stronger because work safety is now criminal law, which means you can be fined or imprisoned if you're negligent. So it's important to follow the instructions and work carefully. Safety is a serious matter. An important part of the law is that regardless of the workplace or the type of work we do, we all have responsibilities under the Work Health and Safety law. These are referred to in the law as duties. So, what is a duty? A duty is an expectation that a person or persons will take correct actions to avoid something bad happening. Prevent it, that is, stop it from happening, or ideally even eliminate. Get rid of or remove the possible harm or worse that could come to others. What are some of the examples of duties a person may have? We're going to look at two key roles in the workplace, the boss and the workers. A PCBU is a person conducting a business or undertaking, and it's a new term in the Work Health and Safety law. It basically means the boss. It doesn't matter if he's doing it for profit or not for profit, he still has a duty and can't shift this to anyone else. One example of their duty is to make sure the workplace is kept safe. This includes workers if they're contractors, employees, labour hire, work experience, or even volunteers or other people who may be allowed onto the site. The work environment needs to be kept safe. Now look at the picture. What is the boss doing? Well, it could be her, but I think it's the guy with the red tie. So here's another example of a PCBU's duty, providing workers with important safety information, instruction, or training and supervision. So what does the boss need to do? Keep the workplace safe, provide instruction and training to the team. What do you think is next? He has to make sure that the equipment is in good order and maintained. This is not just about grease and oil, but also making sure the brakes, emergency stop buttons and safety switches are working. If not, well, that's how Chernobyl happens. Little things build up over time and are not fixed, and so there's a big meltdown and people get injured and die. So 3 key things for the PCBU, or the boss: keep the workplace safe, train workers, maintain equipment. But what about us as workers? Now, workers can include contractors, employees, labour hire, work experience, volunteers. We all need to take reasonable care and make sure our actions do not harm ourselves or others. See the guy in the picture? He has work boots, he has a seat belt, he has a warm jacket for the cold. He's going slowly, looking for other people. We might think, oh, I'm okay, I'll climb up on that rack, I won't hurt anyone. It's true, you might not harm anyone else, but you might hurt yourself. So it's important to realise that this duty of care applies to ourselves as well as other people. Now, what else do we need to do? We need to warn others, or even ask to stop doing something that may be harmful or dangerous to them. Hey mate, stop doing that, you might hurt yourself or someone else. Everyone has a right to speak up if it is dangerous. We all need to work so we're safe and the others around us are also safe, and to warn others. As workers, it's important we follow reasonable instructions given by the PCBU so they can carry out their duty as part of the Work Health and Safety law. Now, we might know of other ways to do something. We might even think it's a better way, but if the boss says everyone needs to do it a certain way, especially when it's safety related, then we need to follow that instruction. We sometimes call these SOP or standard operating procedures, but it's expected that we follow these. What do we need to do? Follow reasonable instructions, warn others of dangers, take care of ourselves and others. What does the boss need to do? Maintain equipment, provide instruction for workers, and a safe work environment. Now, how might this work out? It's interesting that in carrying out our work health and safety duties, we need to understand that a person can have more than one duty, and more than one person may have the same duties. For example, think of an electrical contractor. A contractor who is the PCBU, that is, he's in control of the business, and comes onto the site to do some work. He has some duties, such as being competent or qualified, and ensuring their equipment is in safe working order, which may include testing and tagging. He needs to follow the instructions of the building management. He has to keep himself and his workers, for example an apprentice working with him, safe and other people nearby. Now, they also have duties as a worker when they come on site, which may include going through a safety induction, not entering certain areas unless escorted by a security guard, allowing security to monitor their work activities. Notice his duties overlap. So we may not be just a boss or a worker. We could be both, and the duties overlap. But it's all about working safely and helping others to keep safe. And it's the same with us. If we are asked not to use a piece of equipment unless we're trained, this duty applies to us all. It's not just for the manager or the supervisor or a fellow worker. We all have a duty to follow the instruction for the safety of others and ourselves. For example, security guards in a shopping centre. When there's a spill, they might stand on it and call the cleaner. Or some even carry a blue cloth for themselves just to wipe up small spills. Why is that? They're trying to keep people safe. So, what do you need to do? As officers, we want to do our part. Support the work health and safety rules that have been put in place by our employer, the clients and the property groups. Assist others also to follow these rules and make sure we do no harm to others by the things we do or don't do. Ask someone to stop doing a certain job if it's unsafe and may injure them or others. Well, that's it for this session. Don't forget to complete the short test below, and thanks for joining us. One last thing, we'd love to hear your comments, so send us an email to feedback@learningsphere.com.au with your thoughts.